rational, egoic orientation and open it to a radically vast, open, infinite, superconscious domain. And by whatever name this superconscious domain is called, whether it's called Brahman or Allah or Vishnu or Shiva or Dharmakaya, that is a person's true and fundamental and ultimate sort of identity. And for the world's great mystical traditions, not the world's dogmatic or standard sort of mythic orientations, but the world's contemplative mystical practices, the discovery of this awareness is the ultimate goal and aim of life, and is the aim of spirituality itself, of course. And Eckhart made it pretty clear in his book, The Power of Now, that he had a spontaneous awakening to this superconscious state, to this timeless present moment. And so that's part of why he can speak with a great deal of authority about the state itself. But what he doesn't emphasize enough is that for most people, it really does take practice.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, you mentioned shadow, and in case people that are listening, some of them aren't quite sure what we mean by that, why don't we kind of explain what shadow is? And I know right before we started recording, we were talking about the fact that this shadow material is one of the things that can kind of pull a person out of being in the present moment, out of this now space. So let's describe a little bit about what shadow is and some of the integral ways of dealing with it.
Right. Because what you start doing when you start paying attention to the now is that you realize fairly immediately that when you're resting in the now, when you're really just giving pure awareness to the pure present, most of life's difficulties seem to evaporate. It's really true that you're free of the past and free of the future and open to this pure present. And that pure present seems to have no boundaries and is wide open and is free of most anxiety and free of most depression. And clearly that's a place where one would like to live. And certainly the mystics agree. But so as you start doing that as a practice, you'll notice that, okay, I'm aware of the now moment, I'm aware of the now moment, I'm aware of the now moment, and then at some point you'll realize you're not. At some point you lost track. At some point you got caught in thoughts of yesterday or thoughts of tomorrow or some distraction. And so what causes that is an important aspect to look at when we're doing any type of integral practice, any type of integral spiritual practice, is to try to understand what factors caused me to fall out of this now moment. And there are at least two that are really important, and one is the shadow. And the shadow is any unconscious or dissociated material from oneself that you have pushed out of awareness, tried to deny, tried to project or dissociate. And it could be feelings of anger, could be feelings of jealousy, could be feelings of sexuality, could be power drives. And at some point in the past, these became uncomfortable feelings. And so in a typical sort of Freudian way, we pushed these out of awareness, tended to project them onto other people. Oh, I'm not angry, but that person over there is angry. Or tend to displace them, tend to have these feelings show up in disguised, morbid, uncomfortable forms. And so what happens is you're paying attention to the now, and you're paying attention to the now, and you're paying attention to the now, and then all of a sudden you're not. And one of the reasons you're not is that you're caught in shadow material. The shadow is something that was formed yesterday, and so it pulls you back into the past. So you're going along and maybe you meet somebody that reminds you of your shadow elements, and all of a sudden you reactivate the shadow, and all of a sudden you're out of the now. And that's a very powerful thing that makes staying in the now difficult. So one of the ways that we want to work with that is in the Integral Life Practice, an Integral Life Practice starter kit that Integral Institute makes available. There's an entire section on working with the shadow, and that works with identifying shadow material and dialoguing with it, and then identifying with it, reintegrating with it, so that you take it back, make it part of yourself, integrate it, and then can let it go, can then literally transcend it and not have it be the source of pulling you out of the now all the time.
So why don't we give a couple of examples of this so people know more concretely what we're talking about?
Sure. Let's say that you have a great deal of anger or aggression, and it might be towards your boss or your partner, and at night you have a dream where there's a monster trying to attack you. And essentially, although it could come from many sources, this monster is, in fact, your aggression, your anger, projected onto an other form, projected onto somebody out there, and then that anger seems to be directed at you instead of you being angry at the person, because you're having trouble with anger, and you're not supposed to be angry, and nice boys, nice girls don't get angry. So instead of getting angry at the boss or angry at your partner, you project it. And it shows up then on other people or other forms. It shows up in dreams where they are attacking you. So the monster is after you. The monster is angry at you. The monster wants to eat you. And so what we would do in shadow work is take any image from a dream that is very, very powerful, very disturbing, and this can be positive stuff too. You can project your positive qualities, and then basically sort of be romantically falling in love with qualities that are actually a part of yourself, and that happens a lot too.
But disowned in yourself.
Yes, exactly. But in any event, what we do is take these images, and they can be people during the day or dream images at night, and we basically identify them, and then we put them in a chair. We imagine an empty chair. We put the figure there, and we start talking to it. So I would talk to the monster. What do you want? And then I would take the role of the monster, talk back to myself, say, I want to kill you. And then go back and forth,